It's Monday today and I decided to cook a bunch of food to make sure we have plenty for the next 3 days and to pretty much make sure I'm not gonna be worried about cooking. All of it is sugar-free and it's meant to be as low carb as possible. I feel like my body is like a megaphone for literally how I'm feeling like as soon as I eat correctly, especially if I have sugar added in my meals. As you probably already know, I'm pregnant and the levels of energy that I have are reflected in what I eat. I always notice that after 3 days of no sugar and low carbs, I feel so much more energized. I feel more mental clarity. Even my skin is different when I eat only healthy foods. I'm really excited to share with you the meal plan for this week. We do the groceries in a free open market where it's mostly organic food. People bring their own chickens, their own eggs from their chickens. Same with the fruits, and it's quite nice to have that. It really does feel a difference in terms of quality as the taste, and it's just so much different. You'll see what I mean in just a second. For every morning breakfast we have eggs with cheese and coffee with high-fat milk. We keep it every day the same. Now I plan to make breakfast burritos. I saw that there are so many different ways of making them, but some options look just overcomplicated to me, and I want to share with you my simplified version that takes very little time. In the past, I used to make them with homemade pita, but this time we found a good Lavash option which has only 4 ingredients, and so we will use it this time. Start with the ground beef. I have about a pound here that is still half frozen. No worries, it will cook pretty fast. You can definitely personalize it more with your favorite spices, but I prefer to keep it simple with salt and black pepper only. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes to have it ready. Then I add frozen chopped cilantro. We usually use fresh, but this time because I ran out of fresh one, I just used the reserves from the freezer. To make things easy and to keep it fresh, I add it into a glass container and I move on to the next main ingredient, which is eggs. Normally the recipes are using about a dozen, but for me 10 was enough. I feel like one of the big advantages in living here is to just have fresh organic eggs. Now I have an inquiry. I used to be a big fan of the Vital Farmers. I'd spend that extra $8 or $9 extra just because, as many of you, I wanted the best nutrition for my pregnancy and my toddlers, and I truly believed the marketing about pasteurized perfection. But with the recent controversy in 2026 and the lab results showing their feed might be just as heavy in corn and soy as the cheap brands, I felt really conflicted, and the orange yolk due to the marigold or paprika to the feed, It feels like we're paying a premium price for marketing rather than actual quality. Lately, I've felt so blessed to have access to real local organic eggs where I know exactly what the hens are eating. The difference in how I feel and how my kids eat is actually night and day difference. But I know that's not an option for everyone, and once we'll move back, I'm going to be in the same boat as you, most likely staring at the grocery shelf wondering what to buy. So that's why I want to ask you, what is your egg strategy right now? Are you still sticking with the premium brands, or have you found a better alternative? If you have a secret for finding high quality eggs without the corporate drama, please drop it in the comments. It's gonna be highly appreciated. We pay here about 35 cents for each egg, so with $15 we pretty much get about 40 eggs. Anyways, so for the burritos, I do scrambled eggs. Do low to medium heat to get soft eggs. Probably if you are in the US, you know better than me how to get them very soft. I don't add salt or anything, just cook them in lots of butter, then add them into a glass container. Third main ingredient is cheese. I do some kind of cheddar cheese. It's a Danish brand, as this is kind of the best we can get here. I like to start grinding the leftovers first. I highly recommend to grind it yourself than to buy it already prepared to go, because it's way more dry and it's just different when you make it yourself. Now I set this aside and move to the next important dish of the day, which is meant to last months. Cooking liver is something maybe not very enjoyable for many. I just leave you a quick list of the benefits that this organ can have for our bodies. I clean the main skin, then I cut it into cubes. Here I have about a pound. I cook it in butter, lots of butter. It cooks pretty fast, about 5 to 6 minutes should be fine. but I do like to overcook it a little bit. It's safer this way, and I actually like it a bit more dry. Be careful if you're pregnant because it has really high concentration of vitamin A, and this is why I consume it in moderation. To enhance the flavor, I cut an onion into thin slices. You can cook it before or after. I noticed it's not a big difference. I season with some salt and let it cook another few minutes. I usually take 1-2 bites a week or anytime I want when not pregnant. I keep it in the freezer and just take a piece from time to time. This is actually one of the best supplements you can get, also due to the bioavailability, as it actually absorbs in your body. Next, let's cook my chicken noodle soup that I think every week I cook, sometimes even 2 times a week. One thing that might seem nasty, but I really enjoy buying the chicken that has most of the organs still inside, especially the liver. It's so great to just cook it in the soup and to see in the same time the health of the chicken. If it would have had some problems, some health problems, you would see on the liver with some stains or anything weird. So I started with the legs. I cut them. I'll show you in another video a better representation of it. If you want, let me know in the comments. Pretty much I cut the membranes first, then move to the chest and back, and then remove, when I get the opportunity, the liver and the stomach. It's really nice to see that it's not a very big size, it's just a normal tiny chicken. They seem very organic, which is probably very likely. We buy from ladies who raise them in their own gardens, not farmers with factories of chickens. I don't really keep the neck and the head. There are ways to keep more of it. Now the way I cook is the following. I add it all in a pan with boiling water just to clean it very well from blood and the remaining leathers. You saw it has some itch in there. In the meantime, let's make the noodles, which are very easy to make. 1 egg with a bit of baking soda, then flour until I get the consistency of a dough. My way of cooking is on fast mode. Normally, in order to get these noodles perfect, you need to let them dry for at least 2-3 hours, but I usually let it rest 10-15 minutes only. While it rests, I add the carrots and the onion into the soup. Feel free to add the celery here, the flavor makes it even better, but I just couldn't find to buy for some reason today. I season with salt, and while that cooks, I move to the next dish. Which is a bunch of vegetables that I plan to bake with parts of the chicken. I have broccoli, red pepper, a green bell pepper, and I cut them into cubes, nothing fancy. A carrot, just try for the pieces to be uniform to have them cook evenly. I bring a zucchini, use mushrooms if you have. I cook them in olive oil. Add the back of the chicken, the legs, and one arm, and I keep the chest and organs for the soup. Something I did was to add an apple, which was actually such an amazing add. Next time I plan to add at least 2-3 more. Followed by an onion, add them to the baking dish, then season with what you have, salt, pepper, maybe some garlic would work as well, and bake at 450 for 30 to 35 minutes. Keep an eye on it, then bake for another 10 to 15 minutes uncovered to 250 to get them crisp a bit. While that cooks, let's go to our noodles. The dough is pretty dry now and I add some flour on a clean surface, then roll it with a spoon that I have, which is a spoon holder. Minimalistic equipment while traveling, but it worked very well. Once you fold it in a big piece, give it a couple of hours to rest if you have the time. If not, just use a bit more flour to roll it and then cut into tiny strips. It's actually my childhood soup that grandma used to cook so often for us. The risk for this dough is to stick too much and to not get those beautiful layers, but if you're careful you can make it work. Don't do pasta or other quick alternatives, it's just not the same. As the chicken chest should be cooked by now, I take all of it including the carrots and onion out into a bowl, then add the noodles and chop the carrots beautifully. I don't add the onion anymore, I just cut the chest as well into tiny bite-sized pieces and remove the bones. It's very efficient for the kids to eat more independently. Oh, another thing I really like is that it cooks so fast. In 30 minutes it's almost like cutting itself. This is a sign it's fresh and young. If you get a 4 or 5-year-old grandma chicken, you might end up boiling it for hours to get that meat tender. Add it back and then let it cook for another 5 minutes to kind of blend everything together. I add some frozen chopped cilantro. Highly recommend do fresh. I did it out of necessity, but if you want a real flavorful soup, fresh is the way to go. Sprinkle some black pepper and it's ready. Let's ensemble the burritos now. This lavash is very long, so I just cut one big piece into two, add some of each egg, meat, cheese, and feel free to enhance the recipe with other things if you want, but I just want things as simple as I can. Roll it, you might do a better job than I added some cheese at the end to kind of stick the sandwich. I stopped the heat for the soup and added some sour cream or Greek yogurt to the sandwiches. You can see the soup is very nice and the taste is just amazing because of that chicken broth combined with homemade noodles. The vegetables and chicken were just super delicious as well. The dressings we're using are just lemon or olive oil or maybe yogurt, but that's kind of it. Please leave in the comments below if you have any healthy suggestions, but so far it's a real success with just this as well. This food was enough until Wednesday when I cooked this lamb. I pretty much just seasoned it with salt and some garlic and baked it for 2.5 hours. It was amazing. It's very organic too. Another recipe that I cooked was this fish. This recipe from an Italian chef, and it changed everything for me. I used to really dislike cooking fish, especially now being pregnant. The smell can be so overwhelming, but this method is different. It's so good that it's officially become one of my top favorite recipes. Today I'm cooking 2 pieces. You can use almost any white fish for this, but I believe mine is called dorada, though I'm not 100% sure. In a stainless steel pan, I start with a very generous amount of olive oil, then lay the fish right in. We're going to season it generously with salt and black pepper. Next, chop up at least 4 or 5 cloves of garlic and add them right on top. Now the original recipe calls for cherry tomatoes, but I didn't have any on hand, so I'm using a normal big tomato sliced up to cover the fish completely. This way my husband won't even see if the skin got stuck to the pan. Just kidding, but actually covering the fish with a tomato lets that flavor infuse deeply into the meat, making it incredibly juicy. Cover the pan for a couple of minutes to let it steam, then finish it off with some fresh chopped cilantro. Of course, as a true Romanian, there's no fish without a good polenta. While the fish simmers, start boiling some water with salt. Once it's bubbling, slowly add the cornmeal, mixing constantly without any breaks to make sure it stays smooth and cooks uniformly. It takes about 5 minutes to get that perfect consistency. I love to serve this with a lot of fresh lemon juice. Even though the fish is so flavorful, it doesn't really need anything extra. We have our own lemon trees here, and I'm a huge fan of using them. And there you have it. So easy, so healthy, and ready in under 30 minutes. Perfect for a busy evening. And of course, when we run out of food, I decided to make this beef stir fry, which is very low on carbs, especially if you don't add rice to it or noodles. Let me show you how I made this delicious, easy and so quick little beef veggie stir fry. I'm using ground beef for protein. Here I'll use about 1 pound, but you can do this with chicken, with pork, you can do it even with shrimp, you can do it with no meat at all and just use a bunch of vegetables or even tofu. It's so delicious. I had some ground meat left in the fridge to use and I added a little salt, a little black pepper. Give it a mix and let the meat cook while you get everything else prepped. For the veggies, this is a great time to clean out your fridge. I had some broccoli, a red pepper, and a green bell pepper that I just sliced up, and these are perfect. This is what I have on hand, but like I said, feel free to use anything that you have. I'll bring a zucchini, and ideally you grate a carrot. I forgot, I got distracted with the kids and I just skipped it. But carrot is very recommended. I just remembered I had some mushrooms to use as well, so then I chopped some of them. I had some garlic. It really melts nice in this recipe. I use 4 cloves. Adjust based on your taste. Saute for a couple of seconds. For this, I won't make any sauce. I'll use lemons from the garden. Now it's perfect time to use some. I just squeeze right on top at the end. They are so sweet and perfectly ripe. I like to add a bunch of fresh cilantro for that fresh taste.
Now I have some rice cooking, but feel free to use pasta, noodles, eat it by itself, even with bread it's great. But to make this recipe it's so easy. Add your veggies, cook those for a few minutes so that they become tender. It's so healthy, so delicious, versatile, and such a great weeknight go-to because it takes no time at all to put together. It's a great clean out your fridge type of recipe. It makes everyone happy, doesn't dirty up a bunch of pots and pans, and comes together in under 15 minutes, which I love. Great for meal prep.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which one was your favorite and make sure to subscribe for more.